Hello, this is Tai Chi Class 3 and I have good news for those of you who've made it this far. We're going a bit more yin this week. Week 1, choreography. Week 2 was going deeper with instructions and principles. Week 3, we're going to allow ourselves to let go of some of that and be in flow. We as a species spend a lot of time beating ourselves up about what we're doing or not doing, or what we think we should be doing, or what we think other people think we should be doing. So I want to start by focusing on nourishing ourselves, at least with our first Qigong and with the walking exercise where we're used to the choreography. In between, I'm going to introduce the third Qigong in the Five Immortal series, which I'm really excited about because it's very martial, very central to how we move, to what we do. And then plenty of practice with the form, parts we've covered already, and learning the next move, ward off right. Last week at the start of class I touched on the yin and yang of learning, being passive and being active. Today I wanted to say a bit about my yin and yang approach to teaching and life. So I guess first to say a bit about yin and yang, here we go, which has become a bit of a cliche as a symbol. It's a bit ubiquitous. We don't actually very often, I think, take the time to look at what this is showing us. So where there's a spot of white in the dark and a spot of dark in the white, showing us that there should always be some essence of the opposite within any polarity, and recognising this dichotomy and honouring it, but seeing how it's constantly in flow of balancing, harmonising, unifying, and any different cross section is a different kind of balance of these energies. So yin and yang can represent dark and light, hard and soft, masculine and feminine, or any other contrast you can think of. So with teaching, on the yang side, I have a plan. What do I think we should cover in class? What have I worked out? Then within that structure, being in a place of allowing different teachings to come through. This is yin, feminine, so feeling into the needs of my students, being in divine flow, allowing guidance from Tai Chi teaching angels, or channeling wisdom from Taoist masters. So like in life, it's good to have goals, things to work towards, working things out, and then moving forwards, being open to that plan, evolving, growing, changing based on what we're being shown and what the universe throws our way, such as a global pandemic, where we have to let go of attachment to what we thought we needed and be in surrender, work with what we've got. Or to quote the Buddha, to be with what is. My two favourite teachings on this, Deepak Chopra's Law of Detachment and a Rumi quote, I'll put in the description for those that are interested in this. These have profoundly affected my life, and I would say the more deeply I live by these teachings, the more magical my life becomes. So I wanted to share this with you who are watching. And so in the spirit of yin, we are not going to start by doing eagle flying. We're going to start by being eagle flying. And in flow, I'm going to say some words for optional guided meditation. So let's see what comes through. So remembering this from our first two classes, the basic structure, sinking and rising, tucking, lengthening through the arms. So straight away I'm connecting with the breath. Breathing is mercifully something we don't have to try and work out. It's something we're already doing. Yeah, this is an instant win. Just allow yourself to feel nourished by the breath. Breathing in and breathing out, releasing. And then connecting with the feet, connecting with the ground, just feeling supported by the earth. Allowing the weight to fall down into the ground. Just allowing, letting go of anything else that we want to melt down into the ground. On the out breath. We can be breathing deep into the belly. If you want to, you can just imagine breathing down, all the way down into the feet. And then drawing up energy from the earth. And relaxing down, surrendering to gravity without being collapsed. Feeling alive, yet surrendering down. Filling up and emptying out. Connecting with the ground. Sinking into the ground on the way down. And then just keeping that connection with the ground as we're stretching up and away. And connecting with the root chakra, the base of the spine. Stretching down from the base of the spine. Imagine lengthening that energy centre down into the ground. Anchoring into the ground whilst we're stretching away. And then staying connected to the feet, but just Becoming aware of the space on the top of the head, the crown of the head, feeling that connection upwards. So as we're coming up, we're gently lengthening through the spine upwards, having neck and spine in line, lengthening up, out, connecting through the crown of the head. Connecting with the feet, and the roots coming down, coming up, lengthening, connecting with the crown. Just feeling suspended in between heaven and earth. At peace. Shake the legs out. Just take a moment to feel into the body after that exercise. We were squatting for quite a long time, so apologies if your legs are shaking. So moving into learning some new choreography, we can just still allow ourselves to be in that peaceful, flowing, allowing state. We did Immortals 1 and 2 in the first 2 weeks, which was stalk stands in the water and weighing the grain. Number 3, we've weighed the grain, we're now sowing the grain. Okay, so if you remember, with these exercises we were looking at shifting and turning, and we were shifting and turning at the same time, which can be quite a job in itself. Number 3, our weight is coming back to the centre, and this is the central exercise in this set of 5. We're coming back to the centre. We're no longer shifting our weight. Number 3, we're just turning the hips. We're turning around our central axis. So we're turning just with the hips. We're aiming to keep allowing the upper body to be carried. So we're turning, upper body carried, not twisting the torso, not turning the head. Stretching away from the knee so that the knees aren't collapsing with us. Or stretching the knee away as we're moving the hip away. This turning is almost like a pistoning with the hips. One hip comes forward, the other hip goes back. I'm turning my neck to look at the camera. Do as I say, not as I do. Turning. Keeping that root, so we're keeping our knees, always having our knees bent and our weight sunk down. That's the nice thing about starting with eagle flying. It brings this quality of sinking and grounding, which we can then take through to the rest of our practice. Sinking, grounding, and then turning, really isolating the movement in the hips. So the thighs, the hips opening, stretching. Now lower leg is staying still as possible. Structurally, our knees are above our ankles. There's a bit of movement with the in around the joint. Turning. Stretching here to here. Stretching. Opening. And then the arms for sewing grain, check the leg film, are coming up, rotating down, coming up, rotating, offering, sewing, seeding, rotating and down. So from stationary it is like this. With the turning of the hips, it appears that we're pushing our hands outwards. This is really as we're turning up, we're turning away. So the hip that's coming forward is connected to the elbow and the arm that's coming forwards. So the one that's rising up is rising up in this plane and we're turning away from it. And as we're coming down, moving back towards. And then there's this flow. So with this, the kind of core martial principle is where we're expending our energy out through the center. Yeah, we're not pushing forwards, we're driving with the hips. Coming up, gathering, coming out. So there's a bit of forwards and backwards flow. I don't know if this way is going to be easier to show you. Shake the legs out. Don't know if you're going to be able to see from behind. Weighing the grains, eyes level, gaze level, should I say, eyes open. Shifting. Just going back to the hips. If you can just connect the arms with the hips and be in flow. If the arms are confusing and you just want to feel into the turning, Grain, grain. Shake the legs out. So with our walking exercise, I don't know how people are finding the walking with being limited space indoors. Wherever you are, you might like to see if you can find the longest straight line in your house to practice this. So having practiced this for 2 weeks, hopefully you've sort of roughly picked up the choreography. If you want to go back to the other classes and really to get the instructions again, here I'm going to try and just allow this being in flow without overloading. Some of the core things, just keeping the back straight, balancing before we step, putting the foot down, shifting the weight, shifting, opening, shift, step, shifting and squaring. Connecting with the breath, connecting with the ground. Making sure we're stepping wide. Coming back to the breath and the feet. Spine straight, feeling the root pointing down, thinking down. Holding my hands over the lower dantian, the energy center where all the movements are coming from. Which I'll go into detail with in a later class. Some of you might just want to feel into that area. Just seeing how gently and quietly and peacefully we can move. Okay, so we've come on to the part of the class where I demonstrate the form. You may feel like you want to copy along, or you may want to watch. I'm going to do the first section, just do the first section today out of the three, and I'm going to start from behind. Starting posture. Stepping out. Moving hands like small heavenly circles. Ward off left. Ward off right. Roll back. Push. Single whip. Lifting hands. Pull down. Shoulder strike. White crane spreads its wings. Brush, knee and push. Hand strums the lute. Brush, knee and push. Sun and the moon rising together. Punch. Wipe off. Crossing hands. So to review where we've got to so far, I'm just gonna start facing you. So if you find it difficult to copy along from this angle, just watch. See what you take in, see what you can remember. Starting posture, heels together, toes pointing out 45 degrees. We start by sinking into the right hand side. Then rotating through the arms, pivoting with the left foot, stretching the heel away, stepping into hip width, shifting to the left, turning hips, coming into the center, moving hands like small heavenly circles. Shifting into the left, floating the right wrist, holding the ball. Turning to the right, shifting to the right, stepping forwards. Shift, change the hands, turning into ward off left. One more from the front. Stepping out. Moving hands like small heavenly circles. Stepping into ward off left. As we shift, we change the hands. And then this top hand, connected to the heart centre, comes with us as we turn the hips. This bottom hand, we're moving away from this bottom hand. This bottom hand is the often forgotten, important hand in this stance. It doesn't look like it's doing much, but this is really grounding. Yeah, and you can feel into this stretching, expressing the palm, twisting around the outside, stretching the heart meridian. Let's do some from behind. Sinking into the right hand side. Stretching the heel away. Shifting to the left. Turning hips, turning in the right toes. Coming into the center. Standing up. And down. Shifting into the left, floating the right wrist, holding a ball, turning at the hips and the right toes, out, shifting to the right, stepping forward, shift, change the hands, turning the hips to the, squaring the hips to the front, turning in the back foot, ward off left. Begin. Stepping out. Moving hands like small heavenly circles. Ward off left. Ending up in forward stance, roughly 70% of the weight in the front, 30% of the weight in the back. Remember this common mistake of when we're lifting up the left foot, it swings in front of the right here. We're stepping out wide, holding our weight back, so that our forward stance ends up in hip width, not in tightrope. Begin. shake it out. I'm going to do one from this direction if people want to turn themselves around so they're training next to me instead of training behind me. Stepping out. Moving hands like small heavenly circles. Stepping into ward off left. Okay, so from ward off left, we're doing a quarter turn to turn into ward off right. So just to show you one with hands before we break it down. Forwards, holding the ball, pivoting on the ball of the right foot, small step, shift, bottom hand comes up, turning into ward off right. So from forward stance, where we've shifted forwards, I've just said that we end up with 70% of the weight in front. What it actually is when we continue the flow is we're shifting all of the weight into the front. So that the back heel comes up, we're releasing the weight in the back foot, in the right foot, and then we're turning the hips, keeping this knee facing in line with the toes. So we're stretching this hip away, stretching here to protect the knee, pivoting on the ball of the right foot, and then it's a small step so that we're placing the foot just next to where it was. We take this small step so that when we turn around, we have hip width. So from forward stance, this way. Continuing forwards, opening the hips, turning knees and toes this way, to the right, stepping behind, shifting roughly 70% so that we're releasing enough weight in that back foot so that when we turn our hips, and we're pivoting on the heel here, we turn our hips and the toes come with us so that we're not twisting the knee. And here we are ending up in a perfect forward stance facing to the right. So forward stance with our left foot forwards, shifting forwards, opening, pivoting, small step, shifting, squaring. Again. Forwards, turning to the right, small step behind, shift, square, again, again with this step like we're practicing in walking, like when we're stepping into ward off left, we're keeping all of our weight here as we stretch away with the foot, placing the foot down, connecting with the ground, and then shifting the weight and turning. So from this way, if you want to turn yourself sideways, forward stance, forward, step. It takes a long time to have your feet starting and ending in the right place, so don't worry for now quite where you end up. Just trust that it comes with practice. You know, this awareness of where my feet are, when my gaze is level, it just takes a bit of practice. So one more before I just totally confuse things by bringing in the arms, just when you start thinking you're getting the hang of it. And it's okay to get to the end and then just adjust yourself to where feels right, or where you think is right. So the hands from ward off left. As we shift the weight forwards, this bottom ward off left hand comes and tucks under, and this top one just does that small rotation, so we're having a connection between the palms. We're imagining we're holding our Tai Chi ball in front of the body. Keeping hold of the ball as we turn and step. And then as we're shifting the weight, this bottom hand, like the last time, comes around and outside, around the edge of the ball, down and around, ending up opposite the heart space. This hand that's at the top of the ball, it just arrives as we turn the hips. So there's no, looks like we're driving it forwards, but really we're just allowing it to unfold, the unfold of the elbow, and facing into the right hand here. Ward off left. Coming forwards, holding a ball, pivoting on the ball of the right foot as we open the hips, small step behind. Shifting, bottom hand, right hand comes around, turning the hips, squaring the hips to the right, pivoting on the heel of the back foot. So we're turning, knees and toes in line, turning into ward off right. So again, with this structure with the arms, we're having this rounded, circular, open feeling here, so we're not collapsed. We're expressing at the elbows. Thank you. Excuse me. Let's practice that from behind. holding a ball, pivoting, stepping, shifting, squaring. Also the fingers, we're wanting an alive feeling without being collapsed, but without not holding tensions. Commonly we're holding tension, we're ending up with the thumbs out. Having this kind of gentleness in the hands, but a strong structure. If we were to imagine we were pushing into something, pushing away from something. So again from Waldorf left. Let's do one from this way. Forwards, holding the ball, opening, step, shift, square. Take the left out. Now we're going to go from the beginning. Just coming back to our starting posture, feeling back into the soles of the feet, allowing the weight to be sunk down, the body feeling alive, breathing deep into the belly, sinking into the right hand side, stepping out, standing up, stretching away, in, down, shifting to the left, holding a ball, shift, change the hands, Waldorf left, forwards, holding a ball, turning, stepping, shift, square. Again. this way. Starting posture. Big in, sinking, stepping out. Moving hands like small homely circles. Stepping into ward off left. Ward off right. Here, just noticing where, with the concentration of what the arms are supposed to be doing, if you've ended up feeling up here, ending, relaxing. Yeah, this is what we're aiming to do throughout the moves, but as we get caught up with, trying to work it out, we become tense in the upper body, so nice to just stand at the end. Again. Shake the legs out. Stand for a minute in our sort of beginning posture. Just breathing into the body now, feeling into how the body feels, having completed that amount of practice, now how the mind feels, and just allowing ourselves to feel relaxed or confused or however you're feeling. Just connecting back in with the breath and with the ground. And knowing that this class is here for you to come back to over the coming week before I release the next one. So thanks and take care till then.